Neil mentioned antipsychotics, and I think antipsychotics are one of the areas where researchers really contribute, and this has largely been in the care home sector. Although some people with dementia living at home get prescribed antipsychotics, it's a much, much bigger problem for people in care homes. Until recently, about 45% of people with dementia in care homes received antipsychotics. Drugs like Aricept across the UK get given to about 60,000 people with dementia, antipsychotics to about 180,000 people. So we're actually giving antipsychotics to 3 times as many people as we're giving anti-dementia drugs. I think what research has begun to do is trying to actually clarify, well, what are the benefits, what are the harms? You know, initially I think they were just given as general sedatives. There wasn't much evidence behind why we were doing it, why we were giving them. So I've been trying to sort of get to grips with the evidence and find out, you know, what that evidence is. The best evidence is for one particular antipsychotic, risperidone, where there are 5 randomized controlled trials over about 12 weeks. There are a lot more trials of other drugs, but a lot of them have failed and a lot of them aren't in the public domain. So risperidone is really the most solid evidence base. And it's also the only drug that's actually, antipsychotic drug, that's actually licensed to give to people with dementia. So it's kind of probably is the sort of treatment that should be focused on most. Now, if you look at the benefit across 12 weeks, on standardized rating scales for treating psychosis or agitation, you make people about 1 point better. So that's not a cure, it's about 1 point better. Now, another way of looking at that is whether you're significantly improving people. And that's usually been defined as having about a 30% improvement in symptoms. But if you achieve that level over 12 weeks, then that's considered to be, you know, significantly better. Now, if you do that, people getting risperidone, about 55% of them are better after 12 weeks. And you think that's fantastic, 55% sounds great. If you look at the people who are getting the placebo, the dummy treatment, how many of them do you think are better after 12 weeks? Not quite the same, but 42%. So there's a huge response in the placebo group. So if you're looking at it, although risperidone is statistically significantly better than the placebo group are doing very, very well, and the risperidone group are just doing a tiny bit better. Why do you think, why are so many people responding to placebo over 12 weeks? I mean, they're getting dummy tablets. Why are they all getting better? What's going on? Yeah, I've heard of quite a few of the things coming out. I think part of it's the natural course of the symptoms, because things like aggression, agitation, psychosis, they're not present indefinitely. They wax and wane, they go up and down. So some of it will be just spontaneous variation over time. But an awful lot of it will be to do with non-specific things. If somebody's in a clinical trial, often what will happen is their care plan will get reviewed, you know, things will be looked at a little bit more carefully. Perhaps the doctor that's putting somebody into trial will also sort of check them over medically and sort out a few of the other medical things that might be leading to problems. So I think what it's basically telling us is that, you know, non-specific clinical things that people are doing in care environments, sort of medical and other health and care professionals, those are the things that are actually making the biggest chunk of difference. And the antipsychotic drug is just adding a very small amount on top of that. Now, in some circumstances, that small amount can still be helpful, but I think it's important to understand the sort of context of it.